My name is Thomas, and I'm gonna give y'all my version of how it all began. How the world as we once knew it turned into a horrifying hellhole for all those who inhabited the earth. My grandmother was 80 years old and living with Alzheimer's. That day, I took her to her monthly doctor's appointment. And when I was getting her into the car, she began to stare blankly into the sky, and then began to ramble on about the ocean and water and how everyone was drowning. By the time we got to the doctor's office, she was hysterical and she would not calm down. Then she said she was having trouble breathing, and she began to imagine herself drowning. An ambulance came, and she was admitted to the hospital. I called my mother to tell her what happened, and that her mother, my grandmother, was taken to the hospital and was not okay. After the doctors examined her, they noticed they couldn't find anything wrong with her. But after placing her on oxygen, they said it was some sort of mental fit she was having, brought on by the Alzheimer's. She really believed she was drowning. I mean, she was fighting, screaming, and gasping for air until she was sedated and given oxygen to breathe. I left and walked down to the waiting room to clear my head when I noticed a couple with a child enter into the hospital. The mother was hysterical, screaming that her daughter needed help. When I looked at her daughter, I saw a horrible sight. Her eyes had been gouged out, and her hands and skin were bleeding. She was scratching at her entire body and screaming, "Mommy, Daddy, the bugs, they just won't stop biting me." I turned away and looked out the window when I noticed the streets were now in chaos. I saw a man standing in the middle of the street, shaking and crying, and for no apparent reason, he pulled out a gun, put it to his face, and with his hands trembling, he pulled the trigger. This scene horrified me. I immediately went to check on my mother, who had stepped outside to clear her head and smoke a cigarette. When I stepped outside, I saw her standing there in a daze, staring at the sky. She said, "Son, don't look up." I grabbed her and rushed inside, and with the soft voice She said, "There's demons in the sky. And once you look up, your deepest fears come to life and become your reality." My mom was a deeply spiritual person that believed in God and feared the devil. So she pulled out a cross from her purse, balled up in the corner, and screamed, "They're all around me. Do you see them?" Then she got up, full of energy, and ran out the door outside. I ran after her, but it was like she was possessed. She was so fast, I couldn't catch her. I looked over and I saw a man screaming on the balcony. He looked me right in the eyes and then leapt off head first. Everywhere I turned, there was horrific things taking place. And during all this chaos, I forgot what my mom had told me. And I made the worst mistake of my life. I looked up. At first, it was calming. The sky was clear blue. And then everything just got quiet. No more screams, no more chaos, just quiet. Then for about a second, I dozed off. And when I opened my eyes, things had turned much worse. All of the people that had passed away began to seemingly wake up and began to walk the earth. The man that I had seen leap from the balcony was now up walking, his face smashed in with blood dripping down his cheeks and clothes. And there were others with terrible wounds, some missing limbs, and all of them were now focused on me, following me, terrorizing me. There were no more of the living here. They were all these things, these walking corpses. Then day turned into night, a permanent night. I'm still running. I'm still hiding. And for anyone listening, please, please, don't look up.